So if you've ever tinkered with AI, you know that amazing feeling of getting a simple agent to work. But let's be real, there's a huge gap between a cool weekend project and a truly robust, enterprise-grade application. Today, we're going to dive into the toolkit that's built to bridge that exact gap.
Right, so what is the difference? Well, it's pretty much everything that comes after that initial, wow, it works moment. We're talking about security, being able to scale, having proper governance, and, actually being able to monitor and improve your agent once it's out in the wild. That's the leap from a proof of concept to a real product businesses can bet on.
And that's exactly where Amazon Agent Core comes into the picture. It's a platform specifically designed to tackle this problem, giving you the solid foundation you need to build and operate agents in the real world, not just on your laptop.
Okay, let's unpack that formal definition a bit. The words you really want to latch onto are platform, securely at scale, and maybe the most important part, any framework and foundation model. This isn't some walled garden. Think of it more like a set of superpowered building blocks that are designed to play nicely with the tools you're probably already using.
And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. So many developers are caught in this tug of war, right? On one side, you've got all this incredible, fast-moving innovation in open-source frameworks. On the other, you have the non-negotiable demands of enterprise security and reliability. Agent Core is all about saying, hey, you don't have to choose, you can have both.
Okay, sounds great. But how does it actually pull this off? Let's peel back the layers and take a look inside the Agent Core toolkit. We're going to walk through the main pieces, grouping them by what they help an agent actually do.
This table is a fantastic roadmap for what we're about to cover. You can really think of these four groups as the essential body parts of any advanced agent. You've got its engine and brain, its hands and senses to interact with the world, a set of rules and an ID card, and finally, a way to give it a performance review. So, let's dive into each one.
All right, first up, let's talk about the engine room, the core of the agent itself. The runtime is this secure, serverless environment where your agent's logic actually executes. And when you hear serverless, all that really means is that it handles all the complicated infrastructure stuff for you. You get to focus on making your agent smart, not on managing the plumbing.
Next is the memory component, and you can think of this as the agent's brain, for real. Short-term memory is what lets it follow along in a complex back-and-forth conversation. But the long-term, persistent memory, that's the real game changer. It means an agent can actually remember things from past chats, learn your preferences, and get smarter and more helpful over time.
Now, it's super important to not get this mixed up with something like RAG. RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, is like giving your agent a library card so it can go look up facts from a book. Long-term memory, on the other hand, is its own personal experience. It's what it remembers from talking to you. Both are incredibly useful, but they do totally different jobs.
So what good is an agent with a brain if it's just stuck in a box, right? It can't actually do anything. This next group of services gives the agent its hands and its senses, letting it connect to all your data and tools.
The gateway is basically a universal adapter. It's how you securely plug your agent into your existing APIs and services. And then you get these amazing built-in tools. The code interpreter gives the agent a safe little playground, a sandbox, to run code and do complex data analysis. And the browser lets it, browse websites, fill out forms, and pull down information just like a human would.
Okay, so we've given our agent a brain and senses. And that can be a little terrifying if you don't have some serious guardrails in place. This is where the governance layer comes in. For any serious enterprise use, building trust is absolutely non-negotiable. And that means setting clear rules of the road.
The magic here is how identity and policy work hand in hand. Identity figures out who the agent or user is, and it can plug right into systems you already use. Then policy steps in and determines what that identity is allowed to do. And you can write these rules in plain English, or for really precise control, use Cedar, which is an open source policy language. It gives you total, predictable control over every single action. So we've built our agent, we've connected it to stuff, we've made it secure, but is it, any good? How do we even know if it's performing well once it's out in the world? That brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the performance review.
This is all about closing that feedback loop. Observability is like popping the hood and getting a step-by-step trace of everything the agent is thinking and doing, which makes debugging a breeze. And the evaluation service is like its report card. It lets you automatically and systematically test your agent to make sure it's meeting your standards for quality and behavior.
All right, so we've looked at all the nuts and bolts in the toolkit. But what can you actually build with this stuff? How does all this translate into real-world applications that solve real problems?
It really boils down to three main ways you can use this. First, the obvious one. You can build full-blown autonomous agents for things like customer support or automating workflows. Second, you can just use the gateway to wrap your existing APIs and turn them into smart tools that any other agent can then use. And finally, you can actually use Agent Core to build an entire platform for your company, giving all your internal teams a safe, standardized, paved path to build their own agents.
So let's zoom out for a second. What's the big picture here? Why does all this matter? Well, having a comprehensive, enterprise-ready platform like this really signals a major shift in how we're going to be building AI applications from now on.
Look, the big takeaway is that we're moving past the era of simple chatbots. We're stepping into a world of complex, autonomous systems that can actually reason and take action on our behalf. And to do that safely and at a massive scale, you absolutely need a solid foundation. Agent Core is built to be that foundation, helping to speed up the adoption of truly useful AI agents everywhere.
Which of course leaves us with one big question. With the toolkit that handles the hard parts, the security, the scale, the memory, the tooling, the barrier to entry for creating truly powerful, production-ready agents has just been lowered dramatically. So the real question is, what complex problem are you going to solve with your agent?